Once upon a time, two retired teachers decided to convert their garage into a pottery studio. Along with their daughter and son, they built a business around the idea that the world could use a little more art and a lot more artists. We're the Kaya family. Welcome to Wocky Pots. Hi everybody, how you doing? How you been? How are things? Shane and Diana with coffee time number 43 here at Wocky Pots Studio. We got a couple things to talk about today. Diana, what is on our schedule?
Alrighty, well, we're going to go over some of the things that occurred last week. We have a new question to answer for this week. And also we have some planning to do for the week ahead. Mm-hmm. So a lot of things happening and all kinds of goodies, really. Yeah. So last week we had a glaze load come out.
Right. In fact, the glaze load came out Saturday. That was the day we actually took it to the Chincoteague Island Farmers and Artisans Market. It seems like we're doing this a little more often than is comfortable, but we took it out to the kiln Saturday morning and trucked it right over to the market that morning. Now we did give ourselves a little more time this time. We got all of our sanding done for our bottoms, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes as well. But we got all the finishing taken care of here before we packed it away. Last time, not this past Saturday, the Saturday before that, I was actually sanding bottoms right at the market with my bucket of water and my sanding sponges. We did not have to do that this past Saturday, and I'm very thankful for that.
Yes, it was. It was a nice day. These are some of the pieces that did come out of the load, and normally you would not see any funky chickens left, but we did not take them to the market because they are already spoken for.
These guys have already been adopted.
Yes, they'll be going to their new homes this week. So I had these funky chickens come out, and this owl came out.
And last time you saw the owl in its greenware form before it had been glazed, so we wanted to show you what it looks like now. It's all finished and ready for its journey to its new home in Texas.
Yes, that's right. And then another one of our pieces that came out that did not get taken to the market, it didn't get taken to the market for a couple of reasons. One is on the bottom, we set it down on the kiln shelves, and you had not yet done the kiln maintenance because the kiln has been so busy.
It's been hard to find a day where we can do that.
Yes, but we evidently set this down on top of some glaze that was on the kiln shelf, and so we got a little mark on the bottom of it.
I can totally take care of that. That's going to be easy to take care of.
That's an easy fix. But the other thing that kept it from going was this is one of the new Spectrum glazes, and I had tried that on one of the little heart trinket dishes, and it worked wonderful. Mm-hmm. Well, then I tried it in this combo with Honey Flux and the Louisiana Bayou from Spectrum, and I got quite a few pinholes on the inside and even a few on this outside. And so I think what really needs to happen to this guy is I'm probably going to put another coat of Honey Flux on him, and then put him back in
to see if we can get rid of those pinholes.
In the kiln again to get rid of those pinholes. And I think that'll probably do the trick. I usually put a layer of Honey Flux over top of the Spectrum glazes. I know I had pretty good results doing that when I used Sangria.
I'll show some close-up pictures so you can see what we're talking about with the pockmarks.
So.
A couple of them you can actually see down to the bare clay, and that's a no sale for us. We have to
Plus
fix
they're
that.
sharp.
So which
they're
we can fix the sharp, but we can't fix it being down to the bare clay without refiring it, and that's what we're going to do.
But we did. We had some beauties. We'll put some other pictures that were of the things at the market after they were set up, so you could see them.
Right. We had a lot of things sell. Mugs are currently a very hot item for us. They're selling as fast as we can make them. So we are trying to make a few more in hopes of getting ahead of it.
Saturday was the day of the plate.
That's right. So many plates.
All of your mugs went, but almost all of the plates that we took that day went. And our very most popular item of the Saturday market were our Christmas ornaments.
Right, so we thought maybe it was a little bit early for Christmas ornaments. Nope, everybody was buying these. We've been selling them fairly consistently
Yeah.
as ornaments, just as seahorses and sea stars and things like that. But we've recently started adding in our Christmas things, the stockings and the candy canes and the snowmen.
Every single one of the snowmen went, and it was their first time going to the market. So
It was a huge day for the Christmas ornaments. So we definitely have to do some more of those. And don't worry, guys, I will show pictures of these, and if I don't show them in our actual video here, you'll see them at the end of the video. I'll show some of the other stuff that we have or that we had on the table as well.
Yes. That's a good idea.
And so, do you want to talk about what we made recently?
Yes. Why don't you go ahead and do that, because I feel coughing coming on, so I'm going to do
Okay. So you can see I've got, the first thing I want to point out is this baby blue mug that's in front of you. And maybe you can't see the color very well now. This is going to be a very light sky blue color if it makes it through the bisque firing and then the glaze firing. This is that clay that was blue porcelain mixed with the white porcelain, and it so far seems like it's going to hold up really well. It's not a big cup, but I think it's going to be very pretty once it comes out.
I think it'll be a good size.
I think it's going to be a good size. Now the other smallish cup, I have another one over here in the end that you can see I put some texture in on the wheel, and I'm very anxious to see how that comes out with the glazes. But I also have two of those large mugs I was telling you about last week. And they are of considerable size.
Huge.
This is a big mug that will give you a day's worth of caffeine in one container, for sure. And then another one that is only slightly smaller. And I'm handling these very gently because these are still very wet greenware. They are not even close to being dry yet. So they're not going in for their bisque fire today. We are going to be doing a bisque fire today.
Yeah.
These won't be in that bisque fire, I don't think, unless I get very, very big. This tall one might.
They'll be next week.
But not this guy for sure. But I have a couple more of those as well, and a few more like this. And then just today, I made, and I'll show you guys a picture of the stuff I made today, because there was a lot of things. I made some much larger cups. Some bowls, medium-sized bowls, and so far one big, fairly big bowl, and I will have some more as well. But we got out here this morning fairly early, and I filled up the rack, the one that I always refer to and never really show you, the rack next to my wheel. I will show pictures of this week. And it's pretty full of new pottery. Now, you've got a lot of new things you were working on.
Oh yes, I had lots and lots and lots of new things. Now, last week I told you guys that I was going to be working on making an egg cup template. So I've got my little piece of paper that I cut out to a little shape so that I could form. And I went through 3 of these before I finally found one that worked with my clay shrinkage, and I thought when it gets bisqued and then glazed will be the right size for the egg. And so this is my version of an egg cup, and yes, I know you don't like the fact that I have it wider at the bottom.
It's okay, whatever snaps your twigs.
I know a lot of egg cups look like that. What is it? That's
like an egg cup.
Well, an egg cup or a jigger.
Right.
Yes.
In other words, they curve out from the bottom. Right?
Yes. And my mother had a jigger in her house when I was growing up, and it was never used. I never knew what it was.
It's for measuring things.
Yes, but I had no idea.
Alcohol.
Yes, but she never used it, so how would I have known?
Anyway.
I just remembered it was there, but I noticed that was the same shape as egg cups. However, I was thinking to myself, if you're going to put an egg and the top's going to be cut off and you're going to dip your toast in it, you're going to be hitting it a lot. So if you have it narrow,
it would be tippy.
Then it would be tippy. And I was like, I'm going to make it fatter bottomed.
And we'll see how it works.
So I did that.
We can't do anything without doing it the first time, right?
Yes.
So you got to try it.
This guy is from yesterday, and this is a little bee mug.
I love this. Didn't you do a good job, you guys?
I like this too. It has a little honeycomb texture here, and then I have an actual bee.
Well, it's not
an actual, but
not an actual bee.
Yes, but it's
The
the
shape of a
image,
bee,
the
right.
shape of a bee. And then I actually just drew a quick bee in the bottom that resembled him. So
I can't wait
I
to
thought
see
it was
that. I can
cute.
imagine it with a nice bright yellow glaze. It's going to be pretty.
I will say my favorite thing from the week, and I made 4 of these, so I have like a whole set. So I don't know, maybe I have a plan for them. I
That
don't know.
plan. We love this.
Yes.
It's the first time adding a couple of these stamps together, and I think it's going to be a great effect.
So when we had gone over to the clay, I don't remember the name of it.
It was the one in Richmond.
Clay
right.
supply store in Richmond. I found a roller that had this beautiful pine trees, and I had a pine cone stamp, and so I made a little badge to put on the cup of the pine cone, and then the trees around it, and I just love it.
Yeah, I think
So I
that's
have
going
4
to be
of those.
fantastic. I can't
Yes.
wait to see that.
And you know, I'm all the time doing my little animal sculptures and things.
Right.
I do cardinals and I do owls. Well, I decided this week, this little owl, he needed some wings showing.
So a slightly different
Slightly
owl
different
form.
version, yes. So, you know, it's the evolution of the owl. So
Very, very
anyway, but I make all of those little animal shapes and things.
cool. I will show closer pictures, guys. Don't worry.
Yes. But I make them trying to use up all the bits and pieces of my slabs that I have left over from making the mugs. And I was so excited this week because I used up every single bit of clay.
You didn't chuck anything into the reclaim bucket.
No, nothing went into the reclaim bucket. Everything
That's
got
a
made
feat. That's a
into
feat.
an ornament, a cardinal, or an owl. I
Very
felt
good.
very justified.
We have multiple hundred pounds
Yes.
of reclaim that we need to take care of.
So, but all in all, between you and I, we made 79 new pieces last week, so I've updated our goal.
Right, so we didn't make any of the like really super small things. Remember we had that
No.
one day where we made like
Yes.
100 things in one day? We didn't have any days like that where we made a bunch
Yeah,
of
a
small
lot of
things.
this is pretty sizable things.
Right.
You know, the owls and the cardinals are smaller, but they do take time because they're sculpting.
Yeah, yeah.
So we did. We made quite a bit. Now this week, I'm gonna get started by sharing my challenge this week, and then I'll let you.
Challenge, that'll be a
Yes.
highlight.
Because my challenge this week has been, as much as I love fall, sometimes fall doesn't love me, and my allergies have been.
You've been coughing
Awful.
and hacking and sniffling and sneezing.
Yes.
Yep.
And the farmer is cutting the soybeans.
We love our local farmers.
We do, but it's putting a lot of that into the air, and it's just, every time I was outside last week, I would go through bouts and bouts of coughing and until I was like, I'm exhausted just from coughing.
So it won't be long though. We'll get another good rain or two,
Yeah.
and then all that dust in the air will be gone
Yes.
outside. We actually do a pretty good job mitigating the dust here in the studio. We wipe things
try.
down, we mop, we have an air purifier system that helps out a little bit. So the dust in the studio isn't as bad as it would normally be.
Yeah.
But the dust outside and all the allergens
Yeah.
and all that stuff
And
is
I did
bad.
wear a mask in the studio last week though.
To help, right?
To help a little bit too.
Yep.
So, but that was my challenge. So it's
So
time for your highlight.
Your challenge was getting through all of your allergy stuff.
Yes.
The highlight for me last week was the Northern Lights. We never get to see them here in Maryland. We're on the eastern shore of Maryland, and I have never seen the Northern Lights in my whole life. I'm 54 years old. I've never seen the Northern Lights. We even went to Iceland with a group of kids many years ago, and we didn't get to see the Northern Lights then at all, even though we were in Iceland. But a few nights ago, we got some really, really pretty pictures of the Northern Lights, and it was awe-inspiring. When we first went outside, we were kind of disappointed because our eyes hadn't adjusted yet. I guess we were expecting something like fireworks or whatever.
Right.
But after about 5 minutes, our eyes adjusted, and then taking pictures with the phones with the longer exposure,
Yes.
we got some of those really super bright colors, and we got to actually see movement in the sky,
Yes.
the aurora, and it
the
was
streaks.
beautiful.
It was really neat because you would be looking out at the sky and there would be a streak and a streak.
And it was
It was
almost
really-
like waves.
Yeah.
So we had a great time. That is definitely a highlight of last week. In fact, maybe we need to think about some glaze combos where we can kind of make them look like an aurora. So we're talking greens and pinks and purples.
Yeah,
I think it would be great.
It really was.
But it was, anyway, that's our highlight for the studio.
Yes.
It was fantastic. We had a great time watching the Northern Lights.
Yes. And now for our question.
Right, so we got a procedural question, like
Yes.
how do we kind of a question.
So Emily P asked, how can I get nice, smooth finishes on my hand-built pieces? She said, I often get rough or sharp edges.
Mm-hmm.
So since I do most of the hand building, I thought I would answer this one.
You could take over for
I
that
will
one.
start,
for sure.
and
Yep.
then you can finish. How's
Sure.
that?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I will tell you, Emily, one of my favorite things that I use when I'm hand building is I use this little mud tool finishing sponge.
And that's a very fine sponge.
It really is. And it's very fine, and I will take it and I will go around my edges where they seem to have a sharp line, and I'll go around with them, and then I'll just show you on my cup. And then I will take my finger and smooth the edge both on the outside and then on the inside too, to take down that sharp edge.
It's important to note that the sponge has a tiny bit of moisture in it, but
Yes.
it's not wet, because
No.
what happens if you use a wet sponge?
Well, if you use a wet sponge, the clay that I use, the standard 112, the grog gets revealed, and it will actually be rougher then. So this works great with just a smidge.
Just enough
Of
water
water.
to make it soft.
Yes, and it adds just the slightest bit of moisture to it, and it allows you to actually smooth that. So I'll go from the outside edge and then the inside edge, and then I'll feel the different places and stuff. And sometimes I always call them like clay boogers. I know it's a strange thing, but anyway, if I see like a little extra piece of clay that's sticking off, this also does a great job of just taking that little bit off.
Without gouging into
Yes.
the clay. Like if you were using your
Yes.
fingernail or something,
Yes.
you might make it worse by putting a mark in.
So
where you
that's what I do as I'm actually building the piece. After it has sat for a while and is now in its greenware phase where it's dry and pretty much
Right, that's
ready to
bone
go.
dry and ready
It
to
is
go.
bone dry, ready to go in the kiln. If I still notice somewhere that is sharp, whether it's up on the edge, something on the handle that I missed with my sponge, something that still was stuck to it, we take these green, what are they, SOS pads?
They're scrubber pads,
Yeah.
and they're 3M scrubber pads.
Yeah.
Now these come in two colors. They come in the blue and the green. The blue is supposed to be non-scratch, like for doing pots and pans, so you don't scratch your pots and pans up. But I will tell you that when working with clay, the blue actually makes scratches. It's actually rougher and leaves more scratches. So for working with the clay, we use the green
Right.
3M scrubs. And we can get these in two places. We get them in the paint section of Walmart, where they where they sell like steel wool and stuff, but also in the kitchen section
Yes.
where they
I
sell
think
the
that's
scrubbers.
why I was thinking that.
SOS. It's
Yes.
in the same
Yes.
place.
So, and again, say I forgot to do the edge with my sponge, I got busy, or it was the last one of the day and I forgot, and it's in its bone dry form. Now, this is not something I do inside the studio.
And also wear a mask. It's very
I
important.
put a mask on and I take it outside,
Mhm.
because it is going to create clay dust. One of the things you can do if you have to do it inside would be to do it over top of water. But if it's dry and it's still going to go up into the air, so I just prefer to go outside, wear the mask, and then do a very quick wipe down
And
of that.
extremely light.
Very
You've
light.
got to be very light-handed with that.
Yes, very light. But that can knock it down also. Well, then we go and we take the piece out. It could be in its bisque form.
Right. So after it's been fired, once it's durable, and this works for bisque and also for glaze, but
Yeah.
you can also catch some of the sharp edges at the bisque stage.
Yes, you can. And you can always take just a piece of sandpaper or a piece of clay that has
Piece of fired clay, right?
fired clay, not bisque clay, but actually at its ours would be at its cone 6 clay.
So if you have a piece of pottery that has been fired at cone 6, and you have a sharp edge on a piece of bisqueware that's been fired at cone 4, the cone 6 piece will be harder than the bisque 04, and you can use that to abrade the edges.
Yeah.
Now, if they're the same hardness, in other words, if they've been fired to the same temperature, it will still work. It's just that you'll probably be removing from both rather than just the one.
Right.
But it'll still work.
But yeah, so then and that might be one of those times that there's just a little piece sticking out and you notice with your hand, oh, something's sharp there. And you might be able to knock that right off.
I actually made a set of tools out of clay for that specific purpose. And I will take pictures, because I don't have them here on the table.
Right.
I will take pictures of some of the clay tools that we use for smoothing out our bisqueware when it comes out of the kiln, the bisque stage.
And then when it comes out of the kiln and it's all glazed.
So after it's been in cone 6.
At cone 6 and it's been glazed, generally the last thing that we do to make it even smoother is the bottom of the piece.
And we're very proud of our process right now.
Our rims will be already smoothed and everything because we've tried to take care of that throughout the process. But that's when you take over and you do the
wet sanding.
The wet sanding.
Now, the diamond core tools that I use, the sponge, the sanding sponge that I use from Diamond Core Tools is 200 grit, but you can also use 220 grit regular wet dry sandpaper. Don't use dry only sandpaper because you have to use water with this because of the dust, and also because the water helps with the process, makes it easier to sand. Now, we also use a 400 grit sandpaper, and I use that if I want a shiny finish on just clay. Like the bottom of this bowl, I could get this actually not just smooth. Right now it's very smooth, but if I wanted this to actually be shiny, I could take 400 grit sandpaper and wet sand the bottom with 400 grit, and I could actually make the bottom of the clay shiny, so it almost looks like it had been glazed with just that 400 grit. But that's pretty labor intensive, and that is beyond what we normally try to do with our bottoms. But at the very least, we do try to make our bottoms as smooth as possible. Now, I know it's hard to do it when you're hand building, but it is still possible. If you burnish your piece at the leather hard stage, then you can get rid of a lot of the sanding later on. This piece here is really ready to put on the table, and the only thing I did was burnish it with a spoon while it was on the wheel. For a hand-built piece, you can do the exact same thing. Just carefully turn it over and use the bottom of like a tablespoon or something, and carefully smooth out the bottom.
That's a good tip.
And it really is. The bottom of this one was burnished. I've got one where I took the spoon and tapped on the bottom to get these nice, interesting divots in the center.
That's sold.
It's sold, of course it did. But the thing is, you can burnish to get rid of a lot of the roughness. And although it's a common practice to do on the wheel, it's entirely possible to do hand-built also with hand-built stuff.
Yes. So Emily, I hope that helps you out and answers your question. And we're going to move on to our planning for this week.
Yeah. So we have lots to do, and we've gotten started already on a lot of it.
We really have. And one thing we will be starting, we haven't started it yet, but we have an order from Hanson's Craftery. Right,
our friends who own Hanson's Craftery, they want us to make some small ramekin-shaped receptacles for them to pour candles into. They want to turn them into candles, and then...
No, I think this is for the dish soap.
Oh, this is for the soap, right?
Yes, because she makes bars that are actual dish soap that are so nice. Right,
and the idea is the soap stays in the container, then you take your washcloth and you get the soap on the washcloth, and then you wash your dishes with it, and it works better than regular dish soap. That's right, I remember.
Yes, and then the other thing is for their bars of soap, the little soap dishes that I make that have the little spout that go out.
Some of those.
So I'm going to get started on those this week. You already mentioned that we have to start the bisque load.
Right.
Because we do need to have it finished before kids come tomorrow at 2, so we can turn the vent off and not deafen folks.
Right. It's still going to be giving off some heat tomorrow when the kids are here, but not too much. It won't be too hot.
No.
And since half of the class is going to be done outside tomorrow anyway, we're painting you guys, then it won't be too hot in here. Now that reminds me, last week I had mentioned that I would show pictures of the pumpkins that we carved last week. And I will definitely do that. I will definitely show you a picture of the little pumpkins that we carved last week. This week we're going to be outside working with acrylic paints. And I told the kids that if they wanted to bring their pumpkins back to paint them with acrylic paints, they could totally do that this week. So we may have a few kids coming with their pumpkins from last week to paint.
Okay.
I'll show you, when you see the pictures, the orange one is the one that I made and then painted it with acrylic paint.
Right. And you know, I forgot, I was going to have those little wooden eggs out here on the table that you got this week.
That's okay. My wooden eggs came in. I can go get them. They're right over there in that box.
So,
You want me to go get them?
go ahead.
I'll
Go get them.
I'll be right back. Diana, you talk to these guys while
I
I'm
will
I'm
talk, yes. You know, this must have come on from the fact that I was doing an egg cup. But he has got it into his head now that we need to make deviled egg trays. You know, Thanksgiving's coming, Christmas is coming.
Okay, wait, stop talking. I'm back. You can stop talking. Okay, so I have these half eggs, right?
Yeah.
And I'll open one. They're not actually eggs. They're wooden eggs, right? But they're only half eggs. And what we're going to do is we're going to invert them like that on a container or on a tray that you already have.
Yes.
And
either round or rectangular. I haven't decided yet.
we have enough that we can do both.
Ooh. You know, because the ones that I remember from my youth were little round ones, and I thought they were so pretty. You know, and they were made out of glass.
These are not going to be glass. These are going to be ceramic.
But you know, but hey.
But the idea is we're going to have egg trays for deviled eggs, because although I'm not a deviled egg fan, lots of people are. And this will be a way for us to roll out a slab of clay, drape them over our form, and be able to, without too much trouble, make a repeatable, stackable devil's food egg tray.
Not devil's food.
Deviled egg.
Deviled
that's
egg.
what I mean.
Now you're thinking cake.
Devil's food egg. That sounds a little weird. Anyway, deviled eggs.
That's okay.
We'll go in this, and we got a whole box of
What's
these
in
things.
your cup?
Yeah, nothing alcoholic. So anyway, I was very excited to get these in because I think that people will really like that kind of a thing. So tune in. Probably next week.
Maybe next week.
Maybe
we'll
next
have
week
it
we'll have
made
it.
by next week. I'm not sure if we'll actually get one made. Maybe we will. It'll give us something to work towards.
But that's a thing that's coming up, and we have that.
Yes.
We have that in our plans.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be cool.
It'd be great.
Yes. We already mentioned about the homeschool class. We only have 2 Saturday markets left.
2 Saturday markets.
Saturday markets.
But it's kind of sad, right?
Yes.
Because it's going to be the end of anything is kind of sad.
Folks that we've been seeing throughout the summer off and on have been coming and saying goodbye to us. And
Yep. But think about all the pottery we're going to be able to make.
Yeah.
We're really looking forward to that, because post Christmas probably is when we're going to be opening our online marketplace. That's going to be our the store that's set up on our website. And we're going to try to set it up very much like our market table. I think
I'd like to get it before then, and also, you know, these things are going out. I mean, we are shipping because we've had people ask. So, you know, it's not that we have anything formal, but if people ask, you know, we try to accommodate.
Yep.
So, but yeah, just 2. Wow. So Thursday, I'm so excited because after class on Thursday, we're going to go to Mr. Pepper's Pumpkin Patch.
Right, so it'll be our yearly trek to the pumpkin patch, where we will search for the great pumpkin and also bring home some really cool fall decoration kind of stuff.
Yeah, maybe take a little hay ride don't know if we'll do the corn maze or not. It depends on the temperature, because even this time of year, we can have some warm days. I don't mind a corn maze if the temperature's cool.
I don't want to do a corn maze if I'm overheated.
Yes, we did that once, and that was miserable.
Not fun.
It wasn't at all, but if it's cool, maybe
Yeah,
we'll
maybe.
do it.
We'll see,
Yes.
we'll see.
So anyway, so there's lots of things happening, but we need to talk about what are you going to make this week?
Okay, so I still have to keep up with mugs, because you're right. Every mug we make is sailing off the table. So some more mugs and some bowls. I said I wanted to do some stacking bowls.
Oh, that's right.
So we'll see. I know I wanted to do some yarn bowls because we don't have any of those. But we need to start thinking about the upcoming holiday market, the holiday show that we have on Shindig. So we'll need lots of gifty kind of things for that. The bowls are very popular. I might try some larger bowls and maybe a teapot or two. That'd be fun if I have the extra time. But we'll see.
It's been a while.
Been a while.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Cups and bowls and maybe a teapot. We'll see.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
That sounds good. Well, this week I'm going to be making more mugs, more plates, more animal sculptures and ornaments, and I think I need to make some more toothpick holders, because I noticed on the table this week we were getting low on those. So some more of those, and I'm looking for something new again. I know.
What?
I know. Those incense burner things.
Oh, the things that look like a wood stove?
It looks like a wood stove. Oh my God, it's so cute.
All right, so we'll make some of those.
Yes.
We have to get the kiln shelves out. We gotta scrape off the glaze and stuff and put down another layer of the kiln wash on top of the shelves, or we're gonna have problems with stuff sticking. So that's got to happen. It won't happen before the bisque load today. I don't know if we're gonna have time to do it before Saturdays or not.
You might be able to do that while I'm glazing.
I was gonna say
Wednesday.
you might be glazing, and I'll be out there with the grinder grinding stuff off the shelves. And I've noticed a couple of our kiln shelves have cracks in them. It's not gonna be too long before we're gonna have to start thinking about getting a couple more kiln shelves too. But anyway, we have lots and lots of stuff to do.
We do.
But it's all gonna be fun. It's all gonna be great.
We're planning for a good week, and I hope you guys are too.
It's going to be a fantastic week. The wind is blowing and it's starting to look like autumn outside.
Yes.
The leaves are crunchy and in a thick layer out front. So I think it's seasonal.
It is.
Yep. Anything else we need to talk about?
No, I think that's it.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. We really do appreciate each and every one of you. Please do hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget to tell us where you're from so that we can add your location on the map.
And we will do a map update next week.
Next week, because we do have a couple of new folks watching from different places.
Yes.
All right, guys, that's it for us today. Toodaloo, TTFN, ta-ta for now. Take care, see you later, have a fantastic day, no matter where you're at. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.